Broadcaster Philip Boucher-Hayes is spending the day walking the countryside around Glengarriff, County Cork. He's walking two loops. The first is a woodland loop in the Glengarriff Forest Nature Reserve, and the second is a loop around the nearby Garnish Island. Philip is walking the Esknamucky loop. This is 3 kilometres long and it takes about 90 minutes. This loop is mostly a woodland trail covered with a canopy of native and deciduous trees.
My very, very earliest memory is looking over a gate into a field like this with my father, who I never really saw eye to eye with, but the one way that we were always able to relate was just to stop, lean against a fence and absorb the landscape in front of us. In fact, the very last day before he died, that's exactly what we were doing, was looking into a field, having an argument about two horses. It was something that we always had, and we could always relate by just looking at countryside. Such a sense of peace and calm here. It's beautiful.
Glengarriff Nature Reserve receives over 50,000 visitors per year, and there are 5 loops to enjoy here that cater for all levels of walkers, from the challenging to the easy Sunday stroll.
Quite a strong sense now coming to the end of this part of the loop as we come out of the canopy of the woods onto this, there's a blanket bog. It's actually shaking underneath my feet now. Nearly there.
Seeing as his walk isn't too long, and given that the viewing points here are spectacular, Philip wants to get to another one before he leaves the nature reserve, and this one is called Ladybantrys Lookout.
It was a really enjoyable walk, actually. Frankly, not that challenging, but the payoff is just absolutely amazing. And the thing that strikes me most about Glengarriff Nature Reserve is that we probably all use this word, biodiversity. That is what the dictionary definition should be. The mosses, the lichens, the insects, the smaller mammals. You see when you come to somewhere like this, how it all fits together like a jigsaw. It was really, really special place.
The next part of Philip's journey takes him back into Glengarriff, where he'll be taking a short ferry ride to Garnish Island.
Gentlemen, it's lovely to meet you.
Morning.
What's your name?
I'm John.
John, how
Nice
are
to
you
meet you,
doing?
Philip.
Shane.
Shane, how are you?
Good.
Garnish Island is only a kilometre from the mainland, and it takes only 5 minutes on the ferry. These are regular and they leave every 30 minutes. But you don't want to snooze on this ferry, because there are lots of treats in store en route, from buildings being restored to famous movie stars of the 1940s houses. Maureen O'Hara lived there. She starred opposite John Wayne in The Quiet Man.
So whose house is that?
That's Maureen O'Hara's home.
I have a kind of a memory, fairly indistinct, of there being a seaplane there when I came here last 40-something years ago.
Yeah, they arrived in here, Maureen and her husband, Captain Blair. That was his business.
That was his
That was
business?
his business out in the Virgin Islands, yeah.
Did he end up going down in that plane?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. He went back to the Virgin Islands to carry on his business, and he was lost there.
He was lost in the Virgin Islands. Oh, look. Oh, scratch my back for me. Don't get to see this sun that often. Look at it. It's amazing.
There's the white-tailed eagle.
Oh my God, he is magnificent. Look at him. He's so proud. And do you see them flying often?
You would, yeah, you'd see them flying. They're a big bird, they have about a 4-foot span when they're flying.
Wow, I would say that is quite a sight. That beak is a weapon. I've never seen anything quite like that. That's amazing. And the look on his face, he clearly doesn't think a whole lot of us. I had a couple of school teachers who used to look at me like that. Something else. That's a real treat. I've never seen a bird of that size in the wild in this country. It's so encouraging to see it. It's beautiful. Wow. Good luck, I'll see you. How are you?
Good afternoon, Philip.
Lovely
Welcome
to
to
meet you.
Garnish Island.
Thank you very much. Can I say first off, Finbar, the place really is a credit to you. It's amazing.
I'm only a custodian on behalf of the OPW, but this is the start of the trail, the Italian garden.
How long in total, do you think?
It'll take you about 50 minutes to an hour. You'll do comfortable in an hour.
Very good. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
This part of Cork benefits from a microclimate, which allows exotic plants to grow here when they wouldn't grow anywhere else in the country. These gardens were cultivated nearly 100 years ago and were influenced by European architecture. Margaret O'Sullivan worked on Garnish Island for over 10 years, and she knows the entire history of the place.
Hello, Philip. Welcome
Margaret.
to Garnish Island.
Lovely to meet you.
You're more than
Lovely to
welcome.
meet you. Everything that we're looking at here is only around 100 years old or so?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so well established in
yeah.
that time.
The island was purchased by John Annan Bryce and his wife Violet in 1910.
Who was Mr. Bryce?
Well, Philip, he was a very wealthy businessman, merchant trader, and he accumulated his own wealth in all the many pursuits that he had in his lifetime. And his wife Violet, they both had this passion for horticulture and gardening, and he had the money and they had the vision.
I'd say it emptied his pockets pretty quickly, though.
Well, it must have taken a good lot of it anyway. Now, he did intend to build a big mansion here on the island, up by the Martel Hotel, which was built in 1805 by the British War Office, and that was built because of a threatened invasion in the Napoleonic Wars. But when he died, Violet, his wife, she decided to sell everything there and come back here to the two-bedroom gardener's cottage, leaving behind that lavish lifestyle in London, and this became her home.
Who else lived here with them?
The head gardener, Murdo Mackenzie, a Scottish man, and then the housekeeper, well, she came as a young girl in the early 1920s as Violet's housemaid, and she stayed here for the rest of her life, which spanned over 75 years.
What was her name?
Margaret O'Sullivan, and she was the last occupant here in the house on the island. Now, she was 91 when she died.
But there would have been no ferry. How was she getting on and off the island?
Well, now, Maggie was a very capable lady. She had her own little boat with an outboard engine. Everyone knew Maggie. She was called Maggie the Island, and she would have gone over to the village with her little dog, picking people up to bring over to the island. Yeah, she was a very capable lady.
Fair play to her. to admit, I'm not a huge fan of formal gardens, but it's really hard not to be impressed by what they've achieved here, because they've taken a barren piece of rock out in the middle of the bay, and over the course of a little more than 100 years, they've turned it into something that could be a garden anywhere in the world. I mean, if you told me I was in Italy or in New Zealand or even Japan right now, I'd probably believe you. I think I have been in the last 5 years in this part of West Cork probably about a half a dozen times, and because I didn't get out of the car and make the time to come and do what I've done today, I'm feeling pretty foolish, really. And I've made a little promise to myself, one that we should probably all make to ourselves. I am going to get out and I am going to do exactly this more often. And any day that I learn something new or see something that I haven't seen before is a good day. And by that measurement, today has been a very, very good day.